But this is one of the things we started to talk about when we were looking in the cases. What you see on the outside isn't always the thing that tells you most about what these the relationships between birds. And a big study that people at this museum, along with people at a number of other museums, did in conjunction with each other, looked at the DNA, got DNA samples from all of the birds, or at least all of the major groups of birds of the world, and compared them. And what they found, one of the very exciting results, was that the flamingos and the grebes are each other's closest relative, that there's a common ancestor to these two very distinct looking lines of birds.
These two are very related.
These are very, I mean, they're still distantly related, but they're each other's closest relatives.
Wow. And they have a common ancestor.
Exactly.
How long ago did that common ancestor live?
I don't, it would be many thousands, many hundreds of thousands of
Yes.
years, but I'm not sure of the exact number.
Yeah.
On
No, that's amazing. They look nothing alike, but they can be very related.
You and I might be related.
We'll have to check that out.
You're more closely related than these are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure. So where does the DNA come from to do that experiment?
So for each of the birds that's prepared in a place like this, a little tiny snippet of muscle from the breast is saved in a tube and then stored in a very, very cold freezer. And that sits there until a researcher decides that he or she wants to use it.
Well, Dave, this has been a little gross, but very, very cool.
Well, it was great to have you two visit.
Thank you so much. Can we come back sometime?
Anytime. You can.
Oh, wow, we'll do that.
Thanks, Dave.
Let's go out to the floor.
All right.
That was so interesting.
I had no idea they did that kind of work here.
Yeah, and I had no idea that involved flesh-eating beetles, which can be a little gross.
It was a little gross, but really cool. I can think of another thing that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah? What do you want to go see?
Well, I heard that Illinois is home to certain kinds of owls.
Really?
And those owls eat mice.
I heard they have to eat them whole.
They do, but they don't digest the bones. They actually regurgitate them.
Boom.
I think we should check it out.
Oh, yeah. Owl puke. Let's go. So have you ever seen an owl close up?
Not really, but I've seen lots of pictures and videos.
Well, maybe we should learn a little about owls before we learn about their, you know.
That sounds like a great idea.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the McCormick Birdhouse at the Lincoln Park Zoo.
Thanks for having us. Do you have owls here?
We do. We have a couple species of owls at the zoo. We have screech owls in the Pritzker Family Children's Zoo. We have snowy owls right outside the birdhouse in the Regenstein Bird of Prey area. And we also, at the Farm in the Zoo presented by John Deere, have a couple of barn owls that are available for special programs.
Are these owls the kind of owls we'd have in Illinois?
All of them will be found occasionally in Illinois. The snowy owls, sometimes in very harsh winters, come down this far south.
Really?
And we see them especially along the lakefront. The other two, the barn owl and the screech owl, are very common in this area.
Wow. What do they eat?
Well, depending on the owl, they actually range in size from our screech owls about this big, the barn owls in between, the snowy owls are the big honker owls. So depending on their size will depend a lot of what they eat. So the screech owls will focus on very small rodents and insects. The barn owls, rodents, mice, sometimes even rats, and the snowy owls, even larger prey items. Mice, lemmings, sometimes rabbits.
Rabbits. Now I heard, that sounds unusual, but I heard that these owls have to swallow these animals whole. Do they have teeth that they can digest them with, or?
They don't have teeth. They have other tools for dealing with their food. They have a very sharp bill, and they also have talons, very sharp claws on their feet that they can use to hold the food items down while they tear them with their bill, much like we'd use our silverware.
Oh, okay.
So if they eat a whole animal, though, how do they get rid of the bones?
They actually will eat whole animals sometimes. They won't tear things up, or they'll tear them up into pieces that still do have bones and hair and all that stuff. And they actually save those up and cough them back up in the form of a pellet. And so if you want to know what the owl in your neighborhood has been eating, you can actually collect those pellets from under the trees where the owls spend the night or roost. And you can take those apart and you will find small bones and hair. And if you're very good at identifying bones, you can even tell what species of mouse an owl was eating.
Wow, thank you very much. I think we're ready to look at some owl pellets.
I think so.
All right, well, thank you
Great.
very much
Have a
for
good
your
time.
time.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you.
So you ready to see some owl pellets?
I am. I'm really excited.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
And who are you?
I'm Nicole. I work here at the Museum of Science and Industry, and we're going to take a look at some owl pellets today.
Oh, very cool. Looks like you got started on one.
I did. I pulled one apart just to give you an idea of what we're about to do and to show you the variety of bones that are inside the pellet.
What are we taking apart here?
This is called an owl pellet. Owls are birds of prey. That means they eat other birds, frogs, some eat some insects as well. And when they eat something, they swallow it whole. So imagine an owl swoops in and it catches a mouse. It swallows the whole mouse, bones, fur, flesh, all of it. It can't use the bones and fur for food, so its stomach digests the flesh, and then it spits back out this pellet that's basically all of the fur and bones from that rodent clumped together.
Ew.
Gross.
So we can open these up and see.
Absolutely. Start out by just very gently sort of pulling it apart with your fingers.
Okay.
And I got mine started. Right away I can see I have a really large skull, which is going to be exciting.
An entire skull?
A skull from something this owl ate?
Yes. Now remember, the skulls are very delicate. The bones in the skull are fragile and they'll crush easily. So pull apart the fur around it very gently. You might even want to use your forceps to do that. This is a great one. This is a pretty, whatever this owl ate, some sort of rodent, was pretty large, because this bone right here is 1/2 of its pelvis. So if you imagine 2 of those,
wow.
It's a good sized creature.
Yeah.
And if you look, if you use your forceps to sort of pry that apart, pull out some of the fur, you can actually see
Crunch.
You can see the teeth of that creature, and that can give you a hint about what kind of rodent it is.
So can you tell from these teeth here?
I would say, looking at that, it's kind of pointy incisor, maybe a vole.
A vole?
Some of the mice have a little bit less pointy incisors. It's hard to tell, though, when we're only looking at this part of the animal.
Right. What sort of things do you learn from this?
You can learn a lot. You could approach this as a chance to learn about skeletons and all the different parts of the skeleton. These creatures that we're finding are all mammals, just like people are mammals. So it's a chance to take a look at how the bones in their skull compare to and are very much like the bones in ours. The other thing that you can learn, what's really important for scientists, is you can take a look at the owl's lifestyle. You can learn about what it's eating. That might give you hints about the health of the environment as well, if you take a look at what they're consuming or not consuming. It's a way to learn more about the owl, even if you don't have that owl in front of you.
Wow. Well, I think I've made a mess. I don't know about you.
You have?
Yes.
Me too.
Thank you very much. This is really cool.
Thank you.
This has been a great trip. We've learned about owls, beetles.
So what would you like to see next?
Actually, this gave me an idea. Want to come?
Yeah, but wherever we go, I hope they have a bathroom.
Actually, that's where we're going.
What? Come on, I can see that at home.
Not a bathroom, the Water Reclamation District. Anytime water goes down the drain,
Like a toilet?
it goes to the Water Reclamation District. Basically, somebody's got to clean up all that water.
Yeah, that can be pretty cool.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Seriously though, are they gonna have a bathroom? This was such a good idea.
I know. We wash things away, we flush things away, but have you ever really wondered where away really is?
Oh, I think we're gonna find out. Hi.
Hi, my name is Reed. I'm the operations manager here at the Stickney Water Reclamation Plant.
Oh, well, tell us about the plant.
This is the largest plant in the world. We treat approximately 700 million gallons a day, and during a large storm, we can pump up to 1.4 billion gallons in a day.
Oh my gosh.
And we treat the wastewater of approximately 2.2 million people in the Chicagoland and surrounding municipal areas.
Wow, so tell us how the plant works.
Well, first, starting from your house, take a shower, wash the dishes, flush the toilet.
Did all that?
comes through the sewers, eventually comes to this plant.
Okay.
The first process it sees is the core screens. These are just a number of bars spread about 5/8 of an inch apart, and the function of those bars is to protect the pumps. We have really large pumps, and we want to protect them from things like logs, bowling balls.
A bowling ball? Someone flushed a bowling ball?
Right. Someone flushed. I would assume from the street someone dropped it in.
Okay.
So the screens act like a filter?
Right.
Okay.
A filter to protect these pumps. These are multi-million-dollar pumps, so you want to make sure that you protect these. You can't just buy them off the shelf to replace them. So the pumps will lift the wastewater up into the aerated grit tanks.
Okay.
And the function of the aerated grit tanks is to take out things like grit, which is rocks, sand.
Little gravel.